Hello, my name is Samuel Bates and this is XB 3001 Hamster, and I am doing the one button challenge. And my one button, it's more of a one input, is the moving the mouse, and which means I can't actually click. You can only move, and so to get around this is that it's actually menu systems are going to work over hover. So first I'm going to show you controls, and then kind of explain the game. So basically, Hamster is a game where you play as a hamster inside a hamster cage, and you need to go around and collect these sort of pellets and bring them back to a central pellet storage nest area. And how you maneuver around is that you actually use buttons on the screen, which you will hover over, to turn left and right, to flip 180 degrees, and to peek behind. You might ask, why are we peeking behind? Well, actually, there are some little enemy evil hamsters who are chasing you around, and you need to avoid them. And the more pellets you carry, the fatter you get, so the sort of character will get fatter and fatter and fatter. And when you store the pellets, then you're no longer as fat. Finally, there's a pause, and collect as many pellets as you can before time runs out, and watch out for those evil hamsters. So again, let's hover over back to main menu, and then let's start, shall we? Okay, so the player starts in this room, and there's this green egg-shaped thing, which is your nest, and you need to bring your collectibles to the nest. So, but to do that is that your player has to move left and right using these arrows. So they can use left or right, and also use these ones on the far corners to do quick turn left and right. And that was a spin around 180 degrees, and when you collect some collectibles you can return it to the nest, and you can see it's stored it, and then the little bar is increasing. Now this is one of the enemies. I'm just going to show you what happens when you get caught by an enemy. You see any collectible which I picked up when you get captured returns back to the location, and when you bring back some more it increases further. So what I also wanted to have, so the central room is the only room which has 4 exits, and each of the exits lead to the different areas. So first of all we have the green zone, which is a small zone and it's kind of all on the ground floor. Then we have the blue zone, which is more sort of intermediary zone, which sort of goes up and then also is also sort of on the ground floor as well. So the red zone is totally in the sky, and in the upper floor. And you might be noticing is that when you pick up different coloured collectibles, the little hamster changes colour also. So when I pick up this green collectible, it's changed, and also you get slower when you pick up more collectibles. And finally, the little character, like I mentioned earlier, also gets fatter. The final zone is this yellow zone, which is underneath. Now, each collectible has a different value, so the yellow collectibles are worth the most. So this zone in the bottom is actually the most dangerous. And the green zone is sort of the lowest value, then it's the red, and then it's the blue. See, this guy is chasing after me, so all I have to do is sometimes you have to spin around, and if you use your peek to look behind you, check if he's still chasing you. Thankfully, I'm just about as quick as the enemy currently, but if I pick up any more, then I might be too tubby. And also, there's a post-processed material on the nest, so you're able to see the nest even when it's concealed by the terrain. So you can see that I just got caught. It happens quite a lot actually. But what you can do is, after you get caught, a little strategy I found is that you can kind of sneak behind the enemies and steal a few more collectibles before they notice. Now, what the players also have to do is use their sort of spatial awareness and to look around a bit to see if there are any enemies around. And also when enemies are close, there is a red vignette. So that's always a good time to do a cheeky peek and see if anyone's behind you. See, this character is there. He just about spotted me, and the red vignette appeared. And there's another enemy who's spotted me as well, and I'm going to try and avoid them by going up here. Looks like I've lost them. The keen-eyed of you may notice that over lots of these pipes there are actually arrows, and these arrows are meant to indicate to the player which direction they're going. So this one is going to the right and upwards, this one is going to the left, and this one is just going down. Final zone is this little dot, and then the dot is basically just straight ahead on the same level. I wanted to be different enough from the up arrow, as initially that was the one which went straight ahead, but that also indicates going up, so I thought it was a bit confusing, so I changed it. There's also a pause menu, so you're able to pause, which you can resume the game. Again, like the main menu, when you resume you hold over it, but also there is a menu button, and it checks if you're sure you want to exit. Because I noticed in playtesting especially, people would accidentally hover over it, and I just wanted to make sure that they didn't want to lose all the process. If we click no, if you do yes, and it returns to the main menu. If you click no, then it doesn't. I also wanted to mention that there is a restart button, and if you do hover over the restart, it does restart the level. In the level, there is also a timer, and the timer ticks down from 5 minutes. And when the timer reaches 0, so see as I'm just running back to the nest just to deposit my final few things. I did miss a few, but you can see this is my final score. So now when the time runs out, the game over initiates, and this shows all the collectibles stored, and then also the time remaining and your collectibles carried. So your carried collectibles are actually divided by 5 for your final score. And you can either restart the game or exit to make. This is an example of the collectibles carried. So basically the collectibles carried score gets divided by 5, whilst the collectibles which are stored inside the nest are kept whole. This results in a final score of 73. You can also go directly to the main menu. Anyway, yeah, so thanks for watching, and goodbye.